Hello, Sunny.
Hi.
Welcome to the pod.
Thank you.
You've kind of been a guest star since the beginning because your music is my intro music.
That's true.
Guys, it's the face, well, really the voice behind the music tune right here with us in the room. I also need it stated right now. It is 7:50 in the morning. My listeners will understand that significance because I am not a morning person. So
I'm so honored.
But you look like a morning person. You look ready to go.
Oh, it's because I have stuff after. I was like, maybe I should just go in PJs. I don't know. So I'm this.
Next time.
Yeah,
next time.
We'll do a PJ one next time.
I mean, I can do a morning, obviously. Like, hello.
Right.
I sound just as, perky as I do in the afternoon. But this is not real.
You're like, this is just for show.
Yeah, this is fake. But I am genuinely excited to be here with you. I just needed to share that because my love is really shown depending on how early I'm willing to wake up for somebody. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, I'm so loved. 7:45 in the morning.
Yeah, no, I love you a lot, and I was really excited about this.
Good.
Are we kidding? Oh my gosh, I love that. So to start off, Sunny, how'd you get your name? I know I'm going rogue.
Yes, no, it's good,
but...
it's good. So it's funny because it kind of ties into what we're talking about today. It was after a radio station that my dad really liked. And so it was called Sunny 103, and it was in North Carolina. And so little did he know I'd go into music, but anyways, so that was where I got my name.
That's adorable. That was lovely. Now, how did we meet?
We met in the same complex, the same church building, same ward.
One summer ago.
Yeah, you were the first person I met.
Really?
I was like, oh, that girl's like sitting over there, we should go talk to her. And so I sat down.
Oh, I remember.
Right after I got my food, and I was like, okay, tell me about the social scene here. And you were like, giving me all the tea. And
I was like, you've come to the right person.
Yeah. I even told my roommate Diana that when we left, I was like, I think we sat with the right person. I think she just knows her stuff, so.
Even if I don't, I pretend to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember meeting both you and your roommate.
Uh-huh.
And you guys were just so delightful, and we had so much fun. And obviously I didn't know that you are a superstar. I want to know, deep down, do you kind of low-key wish it could be brought up more? Because maybe you're just more humble than me, but if I had that just in my pocket as information, I would try anyway to be like,
It's funny because, like, I've never needed to feel like the need to bring it up because people around me always do. Because to them, it's like, whoa. Or, like, I have, like, my whole elevator pitch for dates. Like, if I'm on a date, I try to confine it as much as possible because I don't want to, like, blast them with information at the beginning. Because sometimes guys get overwhelmed by it, and sometimes they're not even intrigued. It makes them nervous. Which means that I'm just looking for the right person, But I feel like I've never really needed to bring it up myself because people around me often do. Yeah.
Okay, good friends.
Honestly,
Good friends.
Surrounded with good people.
Maybe I should start handing out cards of like, these are topics I would like to be brought up. If you could.
That's a really good idea. If you want to ask about it, here's my card. A little QR code, it doesn't hurt anybody.
I've actually been thinking recently about getting business cards for dating because, hear me out, I was getting a sandwich the other day. And
as one does.
Yeah, as one does, little Jersey Mike's. And there was this worker who I thought was really cute, and normally I'm totally fine to ask someone in person,
right.
But just with the setting, all of his coworkers are there, he's
so much
working.
easier just to be like, slip it in.
No, literally, like, here's my card.
You don't have to make a whole scene.
Yes, and I was also unsure about his age. Because it was one of those, like, could go either way. Like, either he's the manager of this place, and he's, like, older, or he's quite young, and he's just, like, baby face. Like, I don't know.
It's hard to tell.
It's really hard to tell.
about it.
So, I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice if I had a card and it said, hey, I think you're cute. If you're taken, just take the compliment. And then on the back, it just has some basic facts about me. A little pic and a QR code.
Yes.
And then the QR code, I don't know, takes them to a link tree. And then they can, listen to the pod. That's all you need to know about me.
That's all, yeah.
Yeah, listen to the pod. It'll really weed them out. Because they'll either be terrified, uninterested, or maybe intrigued. I would like that. It hasn't happened yet, but I have faith.
Make a card. See.
I know.
Yeah, put yourself out there.
And I'm a competition in this aspect kind of person. I'm actually not very competitive in general.
That kind of surprises me, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it does.
It really depends on what it is. If it's a personal thing like this, if I were to get, you know, a ton of business cards and then I got with some girls and they made business cards and we made it this group thing of like, okay, try and hand out 50 in a month or something like that. Oh, I would go hard. But if you're playing a game with me, I'm only so far in it, you know?
See, that's where I get, like, to the death. That is, like, my do or die. And, like, it's funny because half the people around me don't really care. And so when I'm just going at it, they're like, just give her the win.
If I can tell someone cares about it a lot more than me, like, they're gonna think about it after they go home tonight, it's alright if they take it.
See, my dad's, like, next level. He'll ponder it overnight. If he loses, he'll spend the rest of the day talking about why he didn't win. Or, like, all the ways he could have won. Maybe I just got that from him.
Okay, when you're dating, would you want a guy who's equally competitive?
Honestly, I like to butt heads when I'm playing games. It's more fun. I wouldn't mind someone that has that same attitude because I think it's kind of fun and, you know, makes it interesting. Anger is different than, like, competitivity. So, like, if they're kind of, like, throwing cards or, like, you know, that kind of thing, that's not as impressive. But, like, a good gameplay never hurt anyone, so.
Yeah. Okay, love that. We're just gonna segue straight from good gameplay to good songwriting and songs.
Okay.
Normally I ask, what have you been watching? But we're starting off with you because you are literally a professional music producer. What you been listening to? What music does Sunny listen to?
I would have to say Tori Kelly. She's my artist, like my idol. Not just in a songwriting aspect, but in a vocal aspect. And I'm a vocal coach. She's one of the best vocalists I've probably ever heard. And I love, not just that, I've never heard any of her songs swear. And when there are songs that are more like secular, they talk about like, this is me, I'm not a pawn on your chessboard, take it or leave it, kind of. And that's what I aspire to be as a musician. I can't let the world get to me, and she hasn't let the world get to her, and she's getting bigger and bigger. It's cool to see that it actually can work that way. So I've loved watching her journey. I also love her style. It's like hip-hop R&B vibe. Not as much mainstream pop. It has creative chords. I call them yummy chords. It has yummy chords. And her voice is yummy, and just everything about her. That's like my top. And then my guilty pleasure is country music. It's not even a guilty pleasure. It's like everyone knows. I have horses back at home, so it kind of just feels nostalgic. So yeah.
Do you?
I do.
You're a horse girly.
Yeah, I'm a horse girly. That's my side hobby that I, you know, keep to my heart.
So that would be on the card of like,
Probably.
bring this up.
Brings up horses and music.
Literally,
It's killing me.
Hannah Montana.
Oh boy. Yeah,
we're gonna get to your secret Filipino life.
Okay.
But it's just so funny because your blonde hair, blue eyes, the similarities.
It's just, and then I have a sister named Hannah. Isn't that crazy?
Did you just watch that series and you were like,
yeah,
relatable?
Well, our favorite movie as a kid was the Hannah Montana movie. We loved that movie. And we loved the song Best of Both Worlds, and we'd run around the house singing it.
Cute! That was my very first concert I ever went to in my life.
I never saw her live.
It was Hannah Montana.
That's so fun.
It was the Best of Both Worlds tour.
Oh,
I went with my dad.
That's so iconic.
Yeah, it's a little daddy-daughter
With your dad?
date.
That's even better.
Isn't that cute? His work had a box at the Delta Center or something.
No way.
It was
That's
an
so
amazing first concert experience. Going
That's
with my
so
dad, and we
fun.
ordered the food to the booth, and it was my first time I ever learned about an encore. My little brain could not comprehend that the show was over, but it wasn't over.
But like, she comes back on.
She comes back. I was losing my mind
That's so
when
funny.
she came back on. I was like, Dad, are we kidding?
This is so surprised. This is so special.
She did a double encore.
Oh.
And couldn't even handle. I was packing up my stuff. I was grabbing my coat, and then my dad was like, "I think she might come out one more time."
She was like my first Taylor Swift. You know, like before I didn't even know Taylor Swift yet at that point. I don't even know if she was even big at that point. She wasn't even like known.
She wasn't on the radar.
Yeah, so she was my Taylor Swift when I was little.
Miley Cyrus to this day is still one of my guilty pleasures. I love her Bangers album.
I've listened to like her popular recent stuff, but when she switched into the Miley Cyrus stage, like I kind of like lost traction with her. But that's also because like Taylor Swift was up and coming, and then like I started expanding to other artists and stuff, and yeah, but...
As a music person, what's your stance on Taylor Swift? Because I have had many people on the pod that are not Taylor Swift fans, Taylor Swift haters, because they're like, she's not a very good singer.
As a musician, I agree with the vocal part. She's very stationary. She doesn't showcase her vocal abilities very well. Also, I feel like she's very stuck in her chord progressions. But where I'm a Taylor Swift fan, because of a couple reasons. One, because her songwriting is next level. She's just so eloquent. I love her poetry. And so I listen to her not for her vocal abilities, but for her songwriting. I use her as like a base. It's a show not tell kind of a thing, which I love. And then also her marketing. I look up to her for her marketing and all the unique things she's accomplished. Like a lot of people who are as big as her kind of feel fake to me, but she's so human. I like her, but I don't feel like for the same reason everyone does. If I could combine Tori Kelly, her voice, and then Taylor Swift's songwriting, that would be my dream artist, you know?
Any other artist that you feel like everyone should be listening to?
I do love Lauren Daigle because of any of the artists, I feel like that's actually, when I sing, that's who my voice sounds most like, is Lauren Daigle. I guess my three artists that make me as a person: songwriting, Taylor Swift, vocals, inspirations, and who she is as a person, Tori Kelly, and then vocal sound alike with Lauren Daigle. So you kind of make me up as a musician.
That was so great. Now moving to something that I like. Well, I mean, I love music too, but have you been watching anything lately?
Yes.
TV?
So I'm kind of obsessed with K-dramas. Do you watch K-dramas?
Yes!
Good. Okay, should I just list all the ones I've watched?
List them off,
okay.
And I'll see if I've seen any of them.
Okay. Crash Landing on You is the top.
Crash Landing on You.
It's everyone's favorite. But what got me into K-dramas was not that one. It was See You in My 19th Life. Have you seen that
Heard
one?
of this one.
I love that one. I won't go into much detail, but it's a lot more unique than the other ones because it goes a little bit more fantastical. That one got me into K-dramas, and then I watched Crash Landing on You, and then I watched Castaway Diva, which is one of the newer ones.
That is newer.
And it's about a girl who pursues music and records and wants to get big as a singer, but then she gets held back by family stuff. Anyway, so that one I relate to a lot. My family watches that one over Christmas break. I just finished Business Proposal, so that one was really good. That one's just more classic K-drama, just a little bit more light. The plot's a little bit lighter than other ones I've watched. And the one I've just started with my sister is King the Land. So that's a new one. And then I want to start Queen of Tears too, but I haven't done that yet. You tapped into my little nerdy side. I love K-dramas. They're just so funny.
I love that. Growing up, I watched quite a few K-dramas because my dad, super into them.
Really? See, my dad thinks they're annoying.
Really?
He's like, they're so whiny.
My dad loves a K-drama. My dad is just a romantic at heart. He likes that it's very romantic and sweet. And there is just something about watching a K-drama and there's so much build up for that first hand brush. You know what I mean?
Or the first time they look at each other and it's like, da da da. And you're like,
the music. There is just a special little formula that's injected into K-dramas.
And you know exactly what the plot's gonna be, and you know exactly who the lovers are from the very beginning, but you don't care. You just love it,
Yeah, that journey they take you on, and you're so happy to go on.
It's always the same thing where they hate each other at first, or they just one person can't commit, and the other person head over heels. Anyways, I just love it. When we visited Korea at the end of our Philippine story, and my sister served there, so we visited her areas. But every time we were stuck on a bus, or anytime we were squished between, I'm like, at least there's a bunch of hot K-drama men around me. I'm fine, because they all look like that in real life.
Yeah.
Felt like I was living a K-drama for a few days. It was great. My head.
The ones that I've watched more recently, I took a break for a second, but I was hardcore there for a few months ago. Throwback to our K-drama moment. If you need a breakdown, it's in one of my other episodes. Don't remember which one. Check out the Instagram. I'm sure I wrote it down.
I'm sure, but it's somewhere.
Yeah. I feel like K-dramas are too many episodes.
Oh yeah, and they're long. They're
so
each
long.
a movie length.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like they don't have any cutscenes. Everything they record is in the K-drama. It's fun, but there's a lot of fluff sometimes.
I think they would be so much better if they stopped at 13 episodes instead of 16. Are there any other shows, anything else that you want to mention on this little segment?
I think the only other thing that I'm kind of a nerd about is Survivor. I've applied twice.
Have you?
And it's gone nowhere. But I'm going to keep applying till the day I die because I am obsessed. I wouldn't say I'm a super fan because I haven't seen all of them. If I'd known them when they started, I would have been a super fan. You know what I mean? But I got into them a couple years ago and I've staying caught up on the current seasons.
Okay, I've been dying to discuss this latest season and I feel like...
Yes, I've watched it.
It's been enough time now, so spoilers. But also, girl, what you been doing? Because it's been quite a few weeks.
We are going to spoil it.
Okay, did you want her to win? Kenzie?
I did not.
Who did you want? Charlie.
But I was so mad at Maria. I was so mad. She didn't know Kenzie's gameplay. But she knew Charlie's from the very beginning. Charlie's gameplay was so much more strategic. Kenzie did have a good social game, but Charlie had a good survivor game. His conniving brain was so much more next level than Kenzie's when Kenzie was just being a nice social person. I wasn't surprised when no one voted for Ben. Kind of just coasted and rocked on, the whole time. I'm just proud of him for making it to the end. All he went through. That was cool. That was a cool moment for him. I wasn't mad. I would say that I was a little bit disappointed in the people voting. Well, and Kenzie wouldn't have won the final challenge if it wouldn't have been for somebody else helping her that got her to the final 3.
Yes, I was okay with the ending, but I wanted Charlie. I wanted him so bad. I felt like his game was so good.
Much better. I always think about what they're thinking about when they watch it later, and they're like, ooh. I'm sure Venus hates how they portrayed her.
Her edit.
Yeah.
The villain. I truly felt so bad for Charlie because Maria, just that betrayal.
She completely plummeted. Didn't really back up evidence for her decision. She just kind of was in the moment oh, she said this, I'm going to vote for her then. For $1 million. Ugh.
We are now going to hear the story of how Sunny became a legend, a pop star. But before we do that, I do need to let you guys know that we recorded this entire thing Sunny was an angel. It was amazing. It was incredible. All of the wonderful adjectives. And then when we finished, I realized that my mic wasn't working. It was recording off my laptop. So it sounded horrible. Absolutely awful. Could not be redeemed or saved. Sunny is an actual angel and came back to re-record this whole section. I just need you all to know that because she's such a great human
Oh my gosh.
to do this.
Okay, are you kidding? If you ever record with Nikki on a podcast, you'll know that she's honestly even better than the greatest human because she made me dinner for doing this a second time. So mess up the first time. I'm just kidding.
Now the time is turning to you, Sunny. Tell us about how you got started and how you became a superstar.
I didn't always think I was going to go into music. I kind of started with wanting to go into equine therapy or something with horses. So that's what I wanted to do when I was younger. I was saving up money to buy my first horse, but I performed at a vocal competition and there was a talent scout there that was like really well integrated into the music scene. Her name's Deborah Bonner. She pulled me aside and said, I wanted to have a consultation with you because I want to teach you voice lessons. So we went and had the free consultation with her and all of it sounded really good on paper, but I was like, it's really expensive. It's really far away because it was in Provo and I lived in West Jordan. I was a 15-year-old that my mom would have to drive there multiple times out of the week, you know, and her packages were artist intensive packages. Like if you take from me, I want to put you into the grades kind of a thing. It was a big decision because like that point was when I'd finally saved up enough money for horses. So I was like, do I buy my first horse or do I table that decision forever and go into music full on? But I could not shake the feeling that I had to do music. I didn't know where it was leading to. I didn't know what I was doing with it, but I was like, I have to do this, all of this, and I don't know why. Literally give my heart and soul to music, table the whole horse idea. Flash forward in my family now, like has horses in Eagle Mountain. So it all worked out in the end.
Oh
but
my gosh.
like it was almost like I gave the little tiny teddy bear to God and then he gave me a big teddy bear in return. You know that picture?
Yes.
He's like, give me your little dream for horses for just for now and I'll give it to you back to you later. Anyways, little did I know all the money I was saving up all that time was gonna be for this. But I ended up doing all these artist intensives with Deborah. I would at her house from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. 3 times out of the week. I was meeting with guitar coaches, songwriting coaches, doing vocal lessons with her for like an hour and a half, 3-hour intensives of her teaching me how to be a vocal coach. I was in like a group class, like I went to Nashville and LA. Just all these things started coming because I jumped full in with her with all the money that I had as this little 15 and 16-year-old.
Were you homeschooled then?
I had to be. There's no way around it. Well, in Utah it's so different because it's so social here still, and I did a lot of community theaters, a lot of extracurriculars, so I didn't feel like it was hindering me at all. And then after all of that, as I got older, and once I branched off from her, I went into commercial music at BYU. That's like a long build up to the Philippines. Long story short, my dad served a church mission there. My grandparents served a church mission there, came back and started an organization in the Philippines called Believe International, and it sponsors students in the Philippines to gain an education. Through that program, they learn different values, and it's like honors programs in different schools sponsored throughout the Philippines because he wants to help uproot poverty. And so they go through high school, they go through college, and they go past college, and they get careers. We're not fishing for a man by giving them stuff, we're like teaching them how to fish so that they can uproot themselves out of poverty. And once the organization was up and running, he knew I was really integrated and I was going to do this as a career, as a life. And around 2019, right before I got into the program, my grandpa was like, hey, do you want to write an album for my organization? I feel like that would be really cool next step for the kids to learn music that teaches them the values so maybe they can learn dances to it. I was like, oh great. And because of all my background in songwriting, I was like, I can write you an album for sure. So like I wrote a song per value that he teaches, and then the theme song was titled Believe after Believe International. Once that was all written and sent out to the schools, the following year, February of 2020, we were the last plane home before COVID hit. The plane after us got sent back to be quarantined in the Philippines. But we toured as many of the school assemblies as we could fit in our trip, into a 2 or 3 week trip.
And this is your whole family?
Yeah, and we performed our album to the school assemblies that we'd written for the Believe International students. We'd been doing music together as a family, kind of for fun on our YouTube channel. I was the one really pursuing it, but our family was just for fun because we all love to sing, we love music. We were putting out covers here and there. We had like multiple thousands of followers. It was a mid thing, you know. Probably 10K views was the most we had before we left. Once COVID hit and after we went to the Philippines, we realized we were like blown away at the 1 or 2 songs we sang in Tagalog, but those were the biggest reaction, even though we'd written these songs and they'd been like learning the music and they sang them with us and they learned dances to our songs. It was really special. So when we came home and COVID hit, we could only do stuff online. We couldn't even perform anywhere. So like, let's just start doing like weekly live streams. It was kind of mid. Again, a month after we got home, we released a music video of our first Tagalog song. It was titled Go Up. So there's a few lines in English, but it's mostly in Tagalog. And it got like 330K views and we were like, what the heck?
I can imagine this being insane insane because how many siblings do you have?
6 of us. Yeah.
Blonde hair
Blonde
and
hair,
redheads.
blue eyes, red hair. Yeah. So like very much everything that a Filipino is not, we are. Blue eyes, white skin. My dad can't tan for the life of him, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and all these comments on these reaction videos are popping up. Oh my gosh. If you ever want to look up Torch Family Music reaction videos, and there are some pretty funny ones. It was really entertaining for us just to watch as a family. Anyways, this was so new. But then over the summer, we tried a few more English ones, but we kept getting like 15K. But like every time we'd release a Tagalog one, it was like 400K, 500K. All the while, like my mom, me, a couple other people we kept hitting our heads because we're like, oh, we want to be famous here. We want to be big here with English music, with people liking our original songs that I'm writing in English. And we just kept hitting wall after wall. And a year or so into it, we met with this music producer guy here local, like, because we felt like maybe he could help us. He literally just like, without saying we're dumb, said we're dumb, you know? He's like, what are you guys doing? What if you just went all in? What would happen? My mom was terrified. She was like, okay, let's try it. And then around that time, I found a song that I loved. It was called Mapa, which means map, but also means ma and pa, because they like to combine words. So it's basically that moms and dads are the maps for our lives. And they wrote it for those Filipinos that go out of the country to work for the people that live in the Philippines. Sometimes they don't come back. They just send money to their families because they love them so much. And so it's this whole like, I'll follow in your footsteps and be a family-oriented person that overall it's just like a really loving ballad. There was something special about it that we were like, we have to release this. And so I think it was like September of 2021. We released a music video of this song. And within a day, I swear, a day, we were getting millions of views. On YouTube, it got 1 million, and on Facebook, it was getting like 20 million, 25 million, 30 million. We're like, what is happening? This was after we committed. And as soon as we gave that will to God, it was like crazy. Weeks and months after that, we were getting like news stations, influencers, radio stations all over the Philippines. Nationally, we got big. Yeah. We'd be up at 3 a.m., fully makeup ready to be on a Zoom call for a news thing. And it was just nuts. They started saying, American family singing Tagalog, and then that became our little slogan. I say all of that because then a year after, my dad and I went back to the Philippines in 2022. Through the connections we made because of all the fame we got there that past year, we were able to meet with a big music production team that now writes for the top artists in the Philippines. We were able to meet with them and their writers and their producers, and we were able to write a fully fleshed EP or extended play, which is like 5 songs. And that next year, January, up until the end of 2023, we were releasing songs every other month, and then a music video in between. And then after that year, here we are, 2024. In April, my family went and toured again, but this time not for the school assemblies. It was our first actual tour for our music. So one of our songs is called Tanglao, which means torch, which is our family's group name. It was the Tanglao tour. We performed every night, sometimes multiple times a day. There were some days where we booked out all for influencers or news guestings or radios and things, and then ended in Korea and sang for a pocket of Filipinos there and came home. So yeah, we are still big out there, and we do YouTube videos a lot, and we're releasing our next EP songs this year to put into an album. Honestly, like when people ask what's my goal, like I'm living my goal. Like I'm doing what I want to be doing, you know? So like little did I know that little me who's saving up money for a horse, a dream that I had then turned into something so much bigger. And like now I have horses, but like now that's more of a hobby and this is more of the thing I do.
Oh yeah. My gosh. Okay, just that last sentence that you said where you're like, what's my goal with it? I'm living my goal. Isn't that the most inspiring thing you guys have ever heard? Wouldn't it be amazing if we could all say that about our dreams and our goals? What's my goal? You're looking at it, babe.
But honestly,
I'm living it.
We always think that our goals are going to come in the future. But like if they always come in the future, they're never in the present, you know?
Yes.
I've just been pondering that so much lately because I get frustrated when people ask me that. I don't know why. Like, it makes me annoyed. So what do you plan to do with that? I'm like, that wasn't enough. What more do I have? You know, that's it for me. You know, this is my life. You know?
Right. You're like,
so if we all lived that way, like we'd be living what we want to be doing instead of always being like, well, I wish, and it never happens. So
I think that is so inspiring. And if there's one thing that I like preach on the pod is to live a life that you want to live. Fill it with things that make you happy and excited.
Yeah, we're meant to live. Yeah.
Live your life because we have such limited time here on Earth.
It's so true. It's so true.
That it's like, if you're not living what you want and doing what you want, like, what are you doing?
I know.
What are you doing? And you can do it in small ways. You can start off small, but then, you know, when you go all in, it's so great.
It's just cool to see what happens when you start to let go. Because you're so afraid to let go of being big in America. The dream that's beyond you is so much bigger, you know? If I had thought we'd be here at the beginning, I'd be terrified. Because I wouldn't be ready. We weren't ready at that time, but like it built into this, you know?
God has just so much better dreams than we have.
It's so true.
You know, you start with your tiny one. You're like, okay, here's what I've got. What do you have in store? Yeah. It's so great to see what he can make of us.
It's so true.
I love that. All right, I'm curious because you work with the fam. Tell me about those dynamics.
Honestly, it varies, you know. Each sibling has their sibling that they argue with, you know. It's a thing, but it's also really fun because without that dynamic of it, I wouldn't feel as comfortable. The ideas you come up with are so much better when you finally find common ground. When we were younger, I don't know, I feel like we didn't see the differences as strength. We saw the weaknesses, butt heads, and then we would just like didn't know how to resolve it. Particularly with me and then my sister just under me because we're both very stubborn in our own ways, but in opposite ways. But then as we got older, I think we started to realize how much we valued each other's differences. And then now we're a little bit older and we get back together. This is so exciting that you have this new idea. And obviously that sounds like a perfect world. That's not always the case. Yeah. But for the most part, I feel like we've really been able to respect each other's space. It varies and changes over time. And who knows how it'll be once we all get married. None of us are married right now. None of us have kids. So like we're trying to just soak up every second of what we can do. But we are a family. I will have you all know. We have our fights. But we also understand that where we've gotten is so much bigger than ourselves so that we can't fight. You know, like we have to just like let that be a thing and recognize it'll happen and then move forward.
Okay, so you had your most recent tour. Mm-hmm. So tell me what went wrong on this tour because I am very much a realist. I like talking about the amazing, the great things, but I also like just kind of diving I like seeing the whole picture, you know? I want to see every little mistake. I want to see the moments where you were like wanting to cry.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean?
So many times.
Because especially when we talk about dreams or pursuing, you know, the life that you want, I think so often influencers especially, they paint this picture that it's so perfect. Like it just works out. Girl, when does that ever happen?
When has that ever actually just worked out? Like
no.
The more you're doing the right thing, the harder it gets. I'll be completely honest. Like the more things tend to go wrong, you know?
Right. Okay, so tell me what went wrong.
Okay, so there's a few things. When we got there, we had two different sets. We had one collection of spiritual based music and one collection of like more secular pop music. Half of our shows were firesides to reach our fan base in the LDS community out there. We sang our first fireside, and then after the first fireside, the area presidency contacted us and canceled the rest of our firesides for the entire trip because they said that our name was a little bit bigger to the point where like if it wasn't under the church, we couldn't do it. There could be copyright issues without the church name, or like there might be songs that we sing that they don't want us to sing in the chapel, which we wouldn't necessarily have done anything inappropriate, but that was just how it was in the Philippines. So all of those got canceled, and we're like, okay, those are half our shows. And then the day of one of our first big shows is afternoon, and we're all in our performance gear doing sightseeing, and we're gonna have perform that night. But then we get contacted by our sound people, and they're like, so actually we don't have a permit for the place we thought we did, so we're not doing it tonight. And we're like, oh my gosh, that's a huge crowd that's coming tonight. So we like went to the city office. There's no place for you to do it here. It kind of felt like we were like being ping-ponged everywhere. There were always things set in place because every single person that set up the firesides for us, or the multi-stake events and things, they were like, devastated. So they would find us different venues that had not only their entire multi-stake there, but also a giant venue of other people there. And so we were able to reach a wider audience than we did if we had just been doing firesides. And that one day when we got that show canceled because of the permit, it got replaced by literally our driver that we'd asked the day before, hey, can you drive us around tomorrow? We'll pay you. This guy that drove us from the airport to the hotel, he's like, sure. He's driving us around and he's like, I have this bottom guy or like this big community, and in the center there's a stage and they have this big festival tonight. Do you guys want to perform? And then we had a huge audience there, way bigger than the one we had planned at our previous venue, and then made sure people knew that to go to the new venue, and we had people come. And it was just perfect. It's funny because everything that got canceled got replaced by a big family event. And it was really cool to see where our tour was shaped into where our target audience was. More than we realized when we were at home planning it out, you know? Every day was way different than we expected, and there were added shows that we weren't expecting, like for example this crocodile park that was like, we want you to come perform at the beginning of our bird show. And there was this huge audience in this auditorium and we're singing with crocodiles in the background. There was just like so many random things that popped up like that, and we're like, we're here, why not? And we just filled our days with as much of it as we could. And our growth there was huge. And it was just so fun just to be like, where are we singing today? Even though we had it all planned out, we never knew what was going to be thrown at us. So that was really hard because that's not normal. The difference between this tour and what tours are like normally is that this first tour, we didn't do any paid performances. Everyone had their different reasons for why they did it. But one of my reasons was I wanted to see what our fan base looked like. Because like, yes, we had big following, but it's like, would people come to our shows? I don't know. We had a ton of people and I'm like, okay, we could definitely do paid venues next time. So that's something I'm excited to do next time we go, but it was really cool to just see throngs of people gathering. It's cute and fun because we like sometimes we get noticed on the streets by people in random cities because they had seen us on the news, and that was kind of fun too. But another hard thing for me was my guitar situation because after the first week, the show's about to start and I just need to plug in my guitar and then we're starting. Open the guitar case, it's snapped in half, broken in complete half, and my strings were just everywhere. And I went and showed it to my mom and we were like, what are we gonna do? So delayed the show for like 20-30 minutes. I don't know how long it was a time. And we had to look up a track track real fast, but it was the wrong track. So we're like, do we do acapella? So this is awkward because it was a cover song. So what happened is we did the track there, and then there were a few venues that were shorter, so we just didn't do the song at the shorter venues. But the second week, every show is a different guitar. This one show, a family friend of ours that lived in the Philippines was like, oh, my daughter has a guitar, you can borrow it. Another one was the sound guys that had extra guitars, so they brought one.
Oh my gosh.
These are just a few things. I feel like the biggest lesson I learned was it never looks like you think it's going to. But it always ends up being better than you expected, you know? And I still have my broken guitar, and I plan to paint it with a mural. So my guitar was made by a neighbor we grew up with next door that was like in his 80s or so. And like he had a wood shop, and he made me a guitar special for me. So I'm like, I don't want to try to get it remade by someone else or like try to like throw it away. I'm like, I want to keep it as a memento of him. I'm going to paint his house on it. Anyways. So you can turn broken things into something beautiful. And that's what I did. And now I have my aunt's guitar that she doesn't want anymore. So that works for the time. But yeah. Anyway, so those are some fun things that happened that were a little interesting, but it was great.
That's exactly the type of stories that I love hearing. I love hearing about people's successes almost as much as I like hearing about everything that went wrong.
Sometimes I like hearing it more. How did you problem solve? Like, you know,
drama.
The drama. I'm here for it.
Yeah, and I just think it's also more inspirational that way too, to see how this success happened in the midst of what seemed like so much disaster, but really, you know, it all worked out.
It was shaped into the way it needed to. It's to influence
it.
families. That's our family slogan, #faith and family. So that's like what we try to promote.
That's so sweet. I love it. Here's my last question for you. What was your best fan interaction that you had on the tour? Because I know that you have a lot of fans.
Yeah.
So I want to hear about your favorite moment.
Okay. There were so many. I just loved seeing them in person. First of all, they'd been numbers to us up to this point. Not that I was looking for the numbers, but I'm like, I just want to see their faces. So it was so fun. But one of my favorite ones, a little trend that started happening that we weren't planning on. We all are Americans and we're all white. And so we all look the same to all of them. It's like different carbon copies of each other. So we started this little trend when we started doing Filipino songs where we just wear the same color every time. So I always wear yellow, Hannah always wears red, Chloe always wears turquoise, Belle always wears purple, Zoe always wears pink, and Rock always wears blue. So that's the thing. That's what we do. People started calling us like, oh, I have a crush on red in the comments. Like, I have a crush on turquoise. They'll be like, oh, pink's my favorite. Or like, yellow, send me a shout out. They started picking up on it and like started calling us by our colors. But they know our names now now that we're bigger. But it started out by them knowing our colors, you know. But when we got there, some fans, if they were bigger fans, they'd wear the color of who their favorite was. One cute little girl wore yellow, and that was my color. So it's really cute to just see people starting to wear colors of like their favorite person. They call it their bias. That's a thing. We each have a different pose. Anyway, so this whole thing. But that's kind of preface for this story because we were at a venue in Tagaytay, which is like a couple hours south of Manila, the main island. And we were performing. There was this guy wearing bright pink in the middle of the audience, Zoe's color, and she was 15, the youngest girl in our family. He was wearing this pink shirt, and he's singing full out every single song of our originals, word for word, and he's videoing all of it. And I'm like, this guy knows us. He knows our music. It's not just like, I'm here to see this family perform because they sound cool and they're Americans. No, he was a fan of our family. And after this show, we're meeting people, signing things, signing shirts, whatnot, like taking pictures of fans and stuff. And this pink shirt guy comes up with a plaque in his hand, and he turns it around and it's a picture of a baby with pink mittens. And he shows it to my sister Zoe and he's like, I named my daughter Zoe after you. Their term for older sibling, their word for that is ate. And so he was like, you're her ate Zoe, like you're her older sister Zoe. He's like, we named her Zoe after you, and can you sign this for me with your name on it? And it was the sweetest. And then he proceeds to tell her that he drove 2 hours to get there and that his wife was at home with the baby still so that they could FaceTime each other so that she could see the baby, but they couldn't bring the baby because it was too far. And so Zoe gets to FaceTime with little baby Zoe, and she's wearing these pink mittens, and he's like, say hi to Ate Zoe. That moment with that dad was just the cutest thing because, again, it was a family thing. And for us, that's our target audience. And so to see it actually coming into fruition, a family was inspired by one of our family members. And Zoe, after that moment, she was like, wait, I'm an example. We're being looked at by people, not like in a prideful way, but in like oh, I need to step up my game and be a better person, you know? Yeah. And so it was really cool to see like how she tried to treat my brother Rock nicer, even though sometimes they quarrel, like, you know? Yeah. Or like just different things like that. And so that was really special. That was probably one of my favorite fan experiences.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. And to know that she has a little baby named after her. Oh, that's a dream.
And they'll comment on our Facebook posts and be like, little baby's always watching. It's so cute.
That is so tender. Thank you so much for sharing about your rockstar Hannah Montana lifestyle. Do you like that it's different across the world?
It's in a different country?
Yeah.
Honestly, yes. It's nicer. At first I wanted to be big here, but then I realized when we were there, we had no break. Everywhere we went, we were being watched, or people wanted pictures with us. Even at the beach, like this person's like, I watch you guys. And we just were like relaxing at the beach, you know? And every eye was on us, which was fun. It was different. But like being here, it's nice just to kind of settle into just living and not being like always bombarded, and being able to reset so that I can be better for them, you know? So.
Do you have your hiking gear? Because we're going to climb up.
Oh, let's do it.
Onto the hills we'll die on.
Let's do it.
In our last minutes here, I gotta know, what hills are you gonna die on, Sunny?
What I'm gonna take to my grave, basically.
Sure,
or like
absolutely.
Just,
yeah.
A lot of people in my line of work or in my industry, everyone was always saying, don't take unpaid opportunities. That's the only way we can make money in this industry. And I think that's completely false. Because half the things I've done are volunteer. A lot of what I do in the Philippines is not paid. And a lot of people are like, why are you doing that? And for me, it's not because I'm in this industry to make money. If I were, I wouldn't be doing it. I'm in this industry because I have gifts to share with people. My best leads for making money have come from doing volunteer opportunities or making those connections or putting myself out there, putting more things on my resume. The money comes where it needs to. And I'm still alive. I'm making enough money to live. I'm paying my rent. I'm doing, like I'm able to make money as a vocal coach and other things I do. I have enough. And I will always have enough. But I would say take opportunities, paid, unpaid. If you're in it because you actually love music, then you wouldn't just be doing it for the paid opportunities.
That's a good hill to die on.
Yeah. A lot of people would hear this and probably be like, what is she saying? But
no, I think just as a person, it's good to look outside yourself and not always have it be, what is like my payout for this?
And I understand that like he's talking to a lot of people that are going to have to provide for families. But if you're smart, if you're entrepreneurial, if you're making the right financial decisions enough with your music, you can take the unpaid. Obviously, you don't want to go too far. Most people's drive is money. But like my drive is because I actually enjoy it. Passion and money. So if it's not always paid, I'm not bothered by it. I've had people think I'm really weird for doing that, but that is the hill I will die on.
That is a good hill. Mine's gonna be a lot less virtuous. Okay, this one, I just really care about people's safety. So I think it should be illegal. Straight up jail time if you are riding a motorcycle without a helmet. I know this is so random, but in our area, we have so many motorcyclists. The amount of people that I see, always men, that are on the freeway, short sleeves, no helmet, that is the most selfish behavior to me.
I'm like, you could be dead in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, and like once you're dead, okay, you're gone. But now your family and your friends have to deal with your passing. That's so selfish to me. Put on a helmet. Put on some leather stuff. It irks me to no end, and I feel like the second someone doesn't put on a helmet, you should be arrested. Quit making it everybody else's problem. Because then if someone hits you or if you do something and you crash without a helmet, say, you pass away, what about the car that hit you? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, now they're gonna have to live with that.
Yeah.
You're affecting everybody around you, and it's arrogant, and I feel like you don't think that you could die. You could die so easy. You don't look cool. You look reckless. And that, to me, I don't know why.
It's beyond bad boy level. It's just dumb.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's so stupid. Put on a helmet. Okay, now it's time to plug yourself.
All right.
So tell us all of the different services because you are a professional. As we all know, we listen to her once a week. You all are hidden fans of Sunny because if you listen to the pod, you listen to Sunny.
You can follow us for our family group. It's Torch Family Music, and you can follow us on YouTube, Facebook. Those are our two biggest platforms, or TikTok. We also have Spotify, Up and Coming, and Instagram. Music out on there. And then you can also follow me on Sunny Grace Music on all the similar platforms. And I do a lot more on the business side of things with my own stuff. So I do music production, I create sheet music for clients, I've done podcast music. I also teach vocal lessons, songwriting coach. So, lots of different packages, different fun things. But you can also go to my website, sunnygracemusic.com. And also, if kids in the range of ages 8 to 18, we offer performance camps over the summer for kids locally in the Wasatch Front. So if you ever want to do that, that's on torchfamilymusic.com. You can get info there.
I will have all of the tagging and everything that she just said on the Instagram.
And I also forgot, if you want to sponsor a student for Believe International, that's a possibility. You can go to believeinternational.org, and there's details there, and you can pick your student, and you start writing letters to each other and stuff. They'll keep you updated on their whole progress of school. You sponsor them to get books and things that they can't get for themselves. If you're interested in doing that, you can go to believeinternational.org.
That is so beautiful. Yeah. Follow all the things. Sunny, thank you so much for coming. Of course. I have a sign out, and I have all my guests do it.
Okay, thank you for listening to Our Thoughts on Life, because this has been Life According to Nikki.
Do Do you want to sing a little ditty?
Sure.
Fly past the star, sun stole my heart, leaving Earth where you belong. Milky Ways apart, a different start. I've moved on from your control. Astronomy. Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's so good!
Uh,
Oh my gosh.
I could send you my family's song Tong Lao.
Lahat tayo'y may layunin, kung para saan ang ating mga araw. Mayroong misyon na binilin ng naikapal na nagmamahal. Isang kislap lang ang kailangan para lumaganap ang liwanag. Buksan ang puso at isipan, diwa ng pag-asa, o humayag magsilbing tanglaw, law, humayag magsilbing tanglaw, law, humayag magsilbing tanglaw. Ang pananampalataya'y naninirahan sa bawat isa'y ang siyang magpapamulat sa kinabukasan na puno ng posibilidad.